This is my daughter's 2003 Subaru Impreza. This car never came with fog lights, and I managed to get her this set off eBay from a user known as Speed Daddy. Comes with this harness and no instructions. There's a switch for it, and what I found doing some research is that these fog lights themselves are plug and play. They come with that harness, but the car already comes with its own factory harness that's wired for the fog light option. So it's $76.86 from Speed Daddy on eBay. And there's the light. I've already got one of them mounted. These are super easy, plug and play. The plug matches, the mounting brackets match to what's in there already. So with any luck, I'm going to go to the dealership next week and get a factory switch and a factory relay, and they should work, but we'll find out. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to take this cover housing off here and mount this. It's the factory fog light delete plate, so pretty easy to take out, except for it's been in there for how many years? 15? Okay, so with some effort I got the screw to come out. It's very tight from being in there for years. It's this little screw here, and that's all that holds it in place, other than a couple of plastic tabs that you might be able to see up at the top here. One right there, one over here that holds it in place, and some slots at the top of the bumper. So go ahead and try to pop this thing out, like so. Then what we've got under here is that little bracket right there is the screw I just took out to hold the cover in place. That's the only thing holding it in, except for the two slots in top here that match these two tabs. So we're going to get a 10mm socket on an extension. Get that out. Also pretty stiff from being mounted there since late in 2002. Speaking of 2002, I would assume with some confidence that this is the same as the 2002 Impreza. Can't prove that, but can't imagine it being different. So there's that. Keep the screw, and the screw works to mount the fog light in place. There's also two other screws already in place, and those are the other two screws we use for mounting. Fog light here has 3 mounting screw holes, those 3 right there. And then this, I believe, is the adjusting screw, and it looks like, I believe from the way it's mounted, you probably are adjusting the height and up and down, side to side at the same time. But as you can see, the design of this bulb and light matches the design of the headlight, which makes me think this is pretty much what you'd consider a reproduction. So this mounting hole here is pretty dirty. This covers have never been off as far as I know, so I'm going to go ahead and wash that out. Try to get some of this grunge out of here before I mount the light. So I got the bezel cleaned out pretty good. Not perfect, I'm sure, but good enough. And right there, that's our factory fog light pigtail coming off the main harness. You can see blue tape around the wiring, keep it in place. That plugs right into these fog lights, no problem, which is surprising, and obviously a lot easier, pain-free. So I'm going to cut that tape so I can extend the pigtail, and we'll plug in our light. So it was really easy to cut that tape, and it extends the pigtail out quite a ways, as you can see. I'll clear out here with it now. And before I plug that light in, I'm going to pull these other 2 screws out. I'm going to be using those for mounting screws. You might be able to tell they come with a small spacer that I did not use on the other fog light. So I set that spacer aside with the screw. And at this point we can plug in our fog light. Now this one mounted to this angled piece. You can just push it off like that. And you match up this side with the slot against the tab on the plug, like so. Push till you hear a click. Then we're all set to mount. Some writing on the bottom, and that goes to the bottom. We just tuck our wiring into the hole. And it's close to being mounted. Now we've got 3 mounting screws left over from taking the cover out. And again, you can see the I don't know if you can tell with this lighting, a little flashlight. I believe that's your aiming mechanism, and then you've got 3 mounting holes at the rest of the 3 corners. So I'll put those screws in and get finished product. Those 3 mounting screws are in place. Very easy on a 2003 compared to what I've been seeing for a lot of the other years. So those 3, and then the aiming mechanism. So got both of them mounted. All I have to do now is get a switch and a relay, and I think that should be it. I hope. We'll find out. So we're back now, and I've since picked up some parts and information from Subaru dealership. We're talking about the relay and fog light switch before. I ordered those and they came in today, and you can see from this drawing that the parts guy printed out for me, front fog light relay is the 3rd one up behind the, or beside the fuse box. The fuse box is accessed through this hole, which has this little compartment drawer in it. And I had to fight quite a bit, could not hold the camera at the same time I was working on it. But if you can see here, up above you'll see 3 open slots. There was 4 open slots. The relay is that 3rd one, fog light relay is the 3rd one up. It was open, and it took 2 hands and some interesting words to get that relay in place, so I didn't film it. But the rest of it, I think, is pretty straightforward. I hope. We shall see. And here's the switch. Also picked up from Subaru dealership. This was $35. The relay, I believe, was $12 or $13. And the nice thing about this feature is you got your blanks here right next to the cruise control. All you have to do is pry up on that bottom tab, flat screwdriver, whatever you can get, and it pops right out. The other nice thing, even though it's a blank, it's already got the pigtail right there. So I'm going to set this down and replace the blank with the switch. And there we have the switch already plugged in. Same type of latching mechanism as the blank had. So that's all there is to it. So we'll put our little compartment door back in place. Easier said than done. Like I said, that relay was the hardest part of this whole operation, so this little thing almost as bad too. There. Once you get it in place, it snaps in. So I got the switch in place, the relay's in place. Obviously the fog lights are in place. We're gonna see what happens. Turn it to accessory. Turn our lights on. I'm going to go ahead and start the car. Our lights did not go on before. Now the switch is illuminated, as you can see. And we've got working fog lights. And I have to say, other than the installing that relay, this is about the easiest retrofit I've done on anything. All you need is a couple of reproduction fog lights and a factory switch and a factory relay, and you're good to go. You can see the pattern on the garage door here is pretty good. I'd say very good for not having adjusted anything, so I can't complain too much about that. Looks like I could go down a little bit on the driver's side. But I'm surprised it's that good without having done anything to it. So I'm here to summarize this whole project. Went very easy using the factory harness. And again, all you need to start out with is this is the printout of the eBay auction. And the seller was Speed Daddy. But here's the title. And all this person's fog light auctions use that same blue Subaru in the background. The ones I got were, they call this chrome. I would call it clear, but they're chrome. Or crystal, I guess. And they also sell a smoke, which is kind of a grayish looking one. And then the yellow, which is more the traditional fog light color. And paid $76.86 for them. Basically, I would just take the wiring harness they give you and throw it in the garbage. Pretty useless, in my opinion. But luckily, all these Subarus were wired for fog lights. Not everybody ordered them, but it's just plug and play. The pigtails on these lights plug right into the factory ones, and then of course the switch and relay do too, since they came from Subaru. The Subaru relay was $12.28, and the switch at the top here is $34.73. You can see the part numbers right there. They're also written on the receipt. So yeah. My camera's not the best at focusing, but you can see that this box here was for the switch, and the relay came in this bag. So there's your part numbers. And here's the box. Looks like Speed Daddy probably drop shipped this from, maybe to themselves, because it came pretty quick, but it Taiwan company called DNAmotoring.com. You might be able to order directly from them, I'm not sure. But I went right through eBay not knowing much about this project when I started. And I did this video because I couldn't find any information on YouTube about it. So hopefully that's all you need. And if you want to retrofit your 2002, 2003 Impreza with fog lights, it's a pretty easy process and doesn't cost too much. Way cheaper than a factory assembly from Subaru. Was over $200. I think it was approaching 280 something if I remember right when I called them about it. So way cheaper than that, and very easy, plug and play, very little hassle. Only the biggest problem was getting that little relay plugged in, but everything else was pretty easy. So good luck with your project. Hope it works out for you.